Anyway, joining me now, John Carney, Breitbart economics and finance editor, co-author of the Breitbart Business Digest. Thank you, as usual, John. I don't know, we're on tender hooks about contagion because nobody wants it, but nobody can predict it, can we?
That's right. Nobody knows really what's going on. I mean, people are waiting right now to hear if they're going to announce any more bank seizures. The FDIC does not like to do that.
After the market closes.
After the market closes, that's right. The FDIC does not like to do that in the middle of the week on a Monday, especially. They prefer to wait till Friday. So we could be on tenterhooks all week waiting to see who else is getting taken out. I think that they're going to realize that they need to expand the cover. Right now, they just guaranteed the deposits at 2 banks. I think they're going to pretty quickly learn that that's not going far enough.
Let's go with that just for a second. The thought occurred to me over the weekend. Okay, you're going to guarantee all the deposits, the insured and the uninsured, from Silicon Valley Bank, just to use that because it's so big. De facto, does that guarantee all bank deposits throughout our whole financial system? I mean, I know they didn't say that. But is that de facto what they're doing?
It does seem like it, because if another bank fails, are they going to just tell those guys, no, your deposits aren't any good, you're going to lose out, but the Silicon Valley guys were bailed out with their high deposits? They can't do that. So in essence, they already have guaranteed all the deposits. But I think one of the things we saw in 2008 was it wasn't enough to sort of artificially do things. The markets actually demanded that you put the money up, that you actually say the words. So people aren't going to assume all the deposits are safe until they see, the FDIC and the Fed and Janet Yellen come out and say, we're guaranteeing the deposits.
What's the buzz? I know you're talking to all kinds of people running Breitbart Business, which does such a good job. What's the buzz about this, about the rescue plan, the failure to buy the bank? I don't know. Why hasn't anybody bought the bank?
That is a...
Here we are. We thought Sunday night, then Monday morning.
They were holding an auction process. They asked bids to come in on Sunday, but there's apparently no buyer. Either there could be a problem with the loan book. We don't know what they had. On this network, Charlie Gasparino was saying that he has heard that they had a bunch of super risky loans to venture capitalists. So that could be one of the ways.
Which is quite possible.
Yes, very possible. And so we don't know what's in the loan book. We also don't know who they will allow to buy this bank. This is the 16th largest bank. They don't want JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, Citigroup getting any bigger. So who can buy it? I don't think...
The they is the Elizabeth Warren crowd.
Elizabeth Warren,
I'm not opposed to
the entire regulatory apparatus is standing in the way of letting the banks, the biggest 4 banks in the U.S. buy this. So who else can buy it? Well, it's a big bank. It had hundreds of billions of dollars of assets. So, maybe you get PNC, some of the banks, but then you just make that into one of the biggest banks. So is that really the goal?
Be the cleanest solution.
It would
be the cleanest, easiest solution. Talk about containing the problem. Last one, John. This is an easy one. What is the Federal Reserve going to do now? Are they going to pause? Are they going to raise a quarter, raise a half, fight inflation? What do you think?
Half is off the table. They're not doing a half. They were on, Thursday afternoon. They were still thinking half. Today, they're thinking maybe a quarter. If this continues all week, though, what we're seeing happen to banks, I think they're going to announce that they're pausing. One thing I think they won't do is announce an emergency cut, because I think that would actually spark an even bigger panic.
Greenspan cut the rate 3 times in 1998 when long-term capital went down. You remember, this was the hedge fund that had all the Nobel Prize winners.
Right, the smartest guys in the room all worked.
The smartest guy. They went long the Russian ruble and short the U.S. dollar, and what happened was the ruble collapsed and the dollar soared. Now, Greenspan cut the funds rate 3 times to kind of, I'll say, save the liquidity system.
Sure,
you don't think that's going to happen now?
I don't think so. That was also a mistake. That helped inflate the tech bubble and made the consequences of that a lot worse. He also had the advantage that he didn't have 9% inflation at the time. We have inflation so bad that having the Fed back off now, I think, would just make inflation even worse.
I think the Fed should pause.
I think they will pause.
Chill out, let their powder dry. Yes. It's okay. They can resume the tightening. Let's see what happens with the contagion. I got to get out of here. John Carney, terrific stuff. Breitbart, appreciate it.